Right now, in Austin, Texas, a Tesla with no one in the driver's seat is picking up a paying passenger. In Phoenix, a Waymo packed with sensors is doing the same thing across more than 1,000 square miles. And in Wuhan, China, Baidu has already completed millions of these trips. The Robotaxi is no longer a concept car. The question is who is actually ahead, and whether any single company can win everywhere. Self-driving cars were promised over a decade ago. Most of that decade was hype. Dozens of companies burned billions and delivered almost nothing. Then in 2023, a Cruise Robotaxi in San Francisco hit a pedestrian and dragged her under the vehicle. Cruise collapsed. California suspended its permit, and regulators across the country got a lot more cautious. That incident still defines how every robotaxi company gets judged. Tesla took a completely different approach from everyone else. No LiDAR, no radar, just cameras and software. For years, that was only a promise, but in mid-2025, Tesla started running unsupervised paid rides in Austin with modified Model Ys. By June 2026, the service has expanded to Dallas and Houston. The fleet is still small, roughly 50 to 80 vehicles, depending on the tracker, and wait times can be long. Tesla says paid robotaxi miles nearly doubled last quarter, but this is a fraction of what its competitors are doing. The real Tesla play is longer term. The Cybercab is a purpose-built two-seat vehicle with no steering wheel, designed to be cheap enough to mass produce. Pilot production started in 2026. Tesla also completed the design of its AI-5 inference chip in April and opened a research semiconductor fab at Gigafactory, Texas, to build it in-house. AI-5 could cut the cost of running Tesla's neural networks in every vehicle. That matters when your plan is to put autonomy in millions of cars, not thousands. This is where Tesla's most ambitious claim comes in. If the software gets good enough and regulators allow it, could privately owned Teslas join the robotaxi fleet? An owner's car earning money while they sleep? Tesla says its architecture could eventually support that, but as of June 2026, there is no regulatory approval, no insurance framework, and no commercial rollout for private owners. Consumer FSD still requires an attentive driver. The private owner robotaxi fleet is a thesis, not a product. Waymo took the opposite bet. Every vehicle carries LiDAR, radar, and cameras. Every operating street is mapped in detail. Expansion happens one city at a time. It is expensive and slow. And right now, Waymo is further ahead than anyone in the United States. By May 2026, Waymo covers more than 1,400 square miles across 11 cities, completing around 500,000 paid rides every week. Over 220 million autonomous miles, the company reports 94% fewer serious injury crashes compared to human drivers. But even Waymo hits hard edges. In June 2026, the company recalled nearly 4,000 vehicles because its software was letting them drive into freeway construction zones, with 13 documented events in Phoenix and the Bay Area. A separate earlier recall addressed vehicles entering flooded roads. Waymo caught both issues and pushed software fixes. Still, these recalls show that the most cautious, most sensor-rich system in the world does not eliminate edge cases. Regulators can force restrictions at any point. While U.S. companies fight city by city, Chinese operators built the largest robotaxi networks in the world. Baidu's Apollo Go completed 3.2 million fully driverless rides in the first quarter of 2026. At the March peak, it was running more than 350,000 rides per week across 27 cities, with 330 million autonomous kilometers driven. Baidu says Apollo Go is approaching break-even in some cities. Pony.ai is scaling fast behind Baidu. During China's May 2026 Labor Day holiday, average daily paid robotaxi orders jumped more than 500% year over year. Pony.ai is mass-producing its 7th-generation Robotaxi and targeting more than 3,000 vehicles by the end of 2026. And WeRide is pushing outside China entirely, partnering with Uber to launch Robotaxi services in Abu Dhabi, Zurich, and Madrid, with 15 total cities planned. China's scale comes with its own fragility. On March 31st, Apollo Go vehicles in Wuhan suffered a mass stalling event that paralyzed parts of the city's Robotaxi service. Chinese regulators responded by tightening permit requirements and deployment oversight. When your fleet is big enough to be infrastructure, a single software failure can freeze a city. More players are pushing in from the edges. Mobileye, the Intel-owned company that supplies driver assist chips to dozens of automakers, announced in June 2026 that it will build its own robotaxi fleet, about 100 vehicles in a U.S. city by 2027, scaling to 17,000 over 5 years. Mobileye already makes the cameras, the mapping system, and the chips. The question is whether a supplier can also run a service. Amazon's Zoox built something nobody else tried. A purpose-built robotaxi with no steering wheel, no pedals, and face-to-face seating that drives equally well in both directions. It is already running free rides in Las Vegas and San Francisco, with an Uber partnership coming for paid service. But Zoox needs a federal exemption to charge passengers in a vehicle with no traditional controls. That exemption has not arrived. Europe is furthest behind. In June 2026, France, Germany, Italy, and 14 other countries signed a joint declaration to coordinate autonomous vehicle testing. But no European city has anything close to the ride volumes of Phoenix or Wuhan. Regulation is fragmented, liability rules differ by country, and commercial service is still in the trial stage. The technology stacks behind these companies are fundamentally different. Tesla uses cameras only and runs end-to-end neural networks on its own chips. Waymo layers LiDAR, radar, and cameras with pre-built maps and validates each city before launching. Chinese operators like Baidu and Pony.ai use LiDAR camera systems on lower-cost vehicles with close government coordination. Mobileye combines cameras with a crowdsourced mapping system and adds LiDAR for redundancy. And Zoox built the vehicle, the sensors, and the software together from scratch. So who wins? Score them today, and nobody leads everywhere. Waymo has the most proven U.S. service and the strongest safety data. Baidu has the most rides globally. Tesla has the cheapest manufacturing path and the largest data collection fleet. Pony.ai and WeRide are expanding fastest internationally. Mobileye has the deepest supplier relationships, and Zoox has the boldest vehicle design. The real answer might be that this war does not have one winner. The U.S. market rewards cautious, city-by-city safety validation. China rewards fleet density, low vehicle cost, and government alignment. Europe is still deciding what to allow. Tesla's bet only pays off if cameras alone can match the safety record of sensor-heavy systems, and regulators agree. Waymo's bet only pays off if it can cut costs enough to expand beyond premium metro areas. And China's operators have to prove their model works outside a system built around close state coordination. 3 markets, 3 sets of rules, 3 different paths to scale. The robotaxi is real. The war splits from here.